We talk driverless everything, secret island bases, a simple way to help support the troops, and with the seasons changing, some cold weather tips and gear. Welcome to another episode of the Gideonstactical Show. Well, welcome back, folks, to another episode here at the show. 10 weeks going strong, loving it. Really fun to have this different avenue so I can get some stuff off my chest, talk to you about concepts, ideas, thoughts that it would be really tricky for me to try to create a video on like we usually do in our kind of review format. And this gives us an opportunity to have conversations, talk, have fun, have relationship, and grow together, which is always a blast. But I also want to hear from you guys. I want to get a little bit more response from you, thoughts on the creative side, because I have ideas to talk about till Kingdom Come, but I want you guys involved in the decision making as well on topics that we discuss here, particularly at the Gideonstactical Show. So if there are concepts, ideas, thoughts that you're like, hey dude, what about this? Or hey, I'd like to know a little bit more about this, or your thoughts on this idea, or this, or da-da-da, you know, whatever, like drones. So hey, what do you think is the future for drones, Aaron? For commercial as well as for individual drones. You know, I own a drone, we use it in some of our footage. So, you know, that might be something we talk about in the near future, but you know, thoughts like that, would love to hear your guys' ideas that we may be able to integrate in coming weeks and in coming years into the Gideonstactical Show. So thank you guys so much. Really excited. We got a lot to get to, but before we do that, I'll just remind you real quick, you know, if you're like me, you probably have two options when it comes to your sunglass choices. Either you dropped a couple $100s on a name brand sunglass pair that's awesome, works really well, but you're terrified that you're either going to lose them, break them, or your kids are going to mess with them, or you know, whatever, you're gonna get a scratch on the lens, then you just toasted, you know, $200-300. Or you've gone over to the Dollar Mart and you've picked up a pair of sunglasses that kind of looked, you know, retro or something, but they're so dark that you can barely see anything. You're almost gonna run into anything and everything. Well, there's another alternative with Knockaround Sunglass Company. We've been rocking their sunglasses here for a long time now, several months, really enjoying them. These are my G.I. Joe pair, have tons. Knockaround is a California-based company from my home city, San Diego. They have great stuff with great high-performing designs, all under 50 bucks. Sometimes you can get some of their sunglasses for like $10, guys, with UV protection, polarization options, custom store, stuff for the whole family. They got a lot going on. So when you use those hyperlinks that we offer below, really helps us out, continue to do what we do here. So appreciate you guys supporting us in that way. So let's go ahead and get to it. We're gonna get to the news first, and we're gonna talk about some stuff that's really been on my mind, some stuff I found just today. And the first thing is secret island bases. I mean, who wouldn't want, if you had the opportunity to own your own island and make it into a secret base, I mean, who wouldn't do that, right? I mean, that's like a dream come true. But in this Finnish-Swedish archipelago, there are some tiny islands, and apparently Russia has had some sort of secret base in an area where there are people just living their lives. So a retiree on a tiny island in this archipelago, Leo is his first name, and this is from The Independent. I pulled this off the Independent website. I believe it's a what's the word I'm looking for? British news agency. Leo awoke early one morning to visit the outhouse in his bathrobe, only to notice two black speedboats packed with Finnish commandos in camouflage fatigues waiting in the bay near his front door. Well, that would be, you know, I mean, scary enough if you see like a SWAT truck out front. Now you got commandos and speedboats outside your front island. And after an exchange of an awkward greeting, Leo went back inside, collected a pair of binoculars, and watched aghast as the commandos raced off toward the island of his nearest neighbor, a mysterious Russian businessman he had never met or even seen. And if you go on and dig through the article, it basically, the island had 9 docks on it, like boat docks. It had a helipad. It had a swimming pool covered in camouflage, and it had enough housing units and satellite dishes to house 400 people. Basically a small, no, 400 people got on there. It says accommodate a small army. Enough to accommodate a small army on this island, and it's owned by some 54-year-old Russian business guy in St. Petersburg. And it goes on from there that basically 400 Finnish police officers and military personnel swoop down on this island, and it's his 16 other properties linked to Russia. Helicopters and surveillance planes provided support. I mean, this was like a huge, like, national security incident apparently over there. And just goes to show you that if you have neighbors that have a mysterious island with no trespassing signs, because he did and all that, and camouflage everywhere and helipads and helicopters are taking on and off, and you've never seen the person, you might be living next to Dr. No, or you may have only been living twice. Both great James Bond movies. I might just watch one of those this weekend. Love those Sean Connery stuff. So anyway, it'd be an interesting news story. If I can find the original link, I will try to drop it in the description below, or you can hop on over to the Independent and search around, and you should be able to find that. But yeah, mysterious secret island bases apparently are a real thing and not just in James Bond movies. All right, now to not having to drive anymore. This is a concept I've been thinking about for a while, because if you've been paying attention at all to like vehicle news and things going on in that arena, that driverless cars are probably in our future. The realistic thing, short of some huge catastrophe or collapse of the social fabric of the world, basically, we will get to a point where there are driverless cars. And I've just been kind of chewing on that concept. And I'll tell you first off, right out of the gate, I just don't like the idea of having no control over a vehicle. Now, if there is a hybrid where you can push a button and it'll take you to a destination, and you're traveling cross country, you got several hours to go, or you got an hour of traffic, I am totally down with pushing a button and the vehicle taking me somewhere, and I can spin around and read a book, take a nap, make phone calls, do work, I mean, whatever I want to do. That sounds really doable to me, and I'm down with that. But if I never have the opportunity to take manual control again and enjoy driving, that would be extremely depressing to me, because I love driving. There's an aspect to my life that I like to get in the car with the family, and sometimes we're like, let's go for a drive. The sun's setting, we have a great view on some of the roads near our house of the mountains and Pikes Peak and some great scenery here in Colorado at the Rocky Mountains. And so we like taking drives, and I like being in control of the vehicle. There are times where it's fun just to go up the hills and get going into it, particularly if you own a faster type of vehicle, maybe a motorcycle, things like that. So I'm skeptical in the next 100 years of us getting completely away from manual driving, and we're going to see some stuff that apparently they're already trying to push that, though, that you have no control over your vehicle, and I don't like not having some sort of control. But we even see this with aircraft in my home state of Colorado, Loveland, Colorado. This is from News 4, I believe. CBS News 4, a high-tech experiment is underway in Northern Colorado Regional Airport that could have ramifications around the country. And it goes on to say, basically, it has an automated air traffic control system. No one is in the air traffic control tower. It's run by cameras and live streaming and computers and all that type of stuff. So how would you feel about that if you were flying in? I know most major aircraft are basically flown 90% by the air by it, but the hope is to have fully operational virtual air traffic control up and running by 2020, which is pretty insane. So they're already trying to do this at some smaller airports with smaller planes, so that they could eventually begin to use that, I'm guessing, probably worldwide and in national airports and all that stuff. So that is all coming. So one, I just like to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you guys think about that? But I just want to read also some news to you, and how would you think about flying with absolutely no one in the cockpit and nobody at the air traffic control tower? That's a little scary to me. But all I did was search driverless car news, and I came upon the Independent again. So I wasn't searching Independent, it just kind of came up. So everything, and I'm just going to read through some news articles here. Man accused of terror plot tried to make bomb using driverless car. So this guy apparently tried to use a driverless car as a giant, remote controlled bomb. I mean, that's basically what he tried to do. People are already using vehicles as weapons, so that is obviously something that could be done. This next one here, Toyota and Uber sign a $500 million deal, shows us the future of self-driving cars. And this is something that I do believe will probably eventually become a reality, where few people will actually own vehicles, and if they are automated, you just push a button, and within 5 minutes, boom, a car that is completely not manned drives up to your house. You hop in it, you go do your grocery shopping, you go do your thing, whatever it is that you need to do, and there are companies that own the vehicles, and you just at least use them for the hour, for the 5 minutes you need to bounce over here, and a lot of people probably will begin to not own vehicles anymore, and you just use some sort of, if it's not Uber, some other type of system like Uber to use vehicles, and we'll see tons and tons of vehicles driving around on the road, all unautomated, so automated. So that's something to consider there, and just interesting. California to allow driverless vehicles without backup operators. That's a little scary. A major step forward, fully automation for vehicles. Then this one was really cool. I liked this. This one right here. And this is from a year ago, but why Mazda thinks electric and driverless cars are hype. Now Mazda is a smaller car company, but you know, their title and their catchphrase is zoom zoom, you know, enjoy driving. I read the article here that the owner loves driving and ultimately thinks that going all, you know, electric and going all automated and no driving and people not being able to drive is just a fad. It's something that is either going to take a lot longer than people suspect or will never fully go away. And I tend to agree with him, and I hope he's right that I see way more like natural gas possibly being an option when we run out of fossil fuels in like 100 years or more, you know, and that's not going to happen like 5 years from now we're out of fossil fuels. It's going to be a long time, and by then technology, when you release technology to do what technology needs to do, it will always create new innovations and will give us the opportunity when fossil fuels are on the decline. We'll come up with something else, yeah, I doubt it will be battery powered stuff because there's this mentality of like, just plug it in the wall and magic happens. It's like, where do you think that power is coming from to charge your vehicle? It's coming from a coal plant, a nuclear plant, or some other type of hydroelectric plant. So I mean, it's coming from somewhere, those batteries are super right now expensive, not good for the environment, and all the rest. So anyway, just some interesting stuff. Would love to hear your guys' thoughts on driverless vehicles in general, driverless unmanned aircraft that you might be flying in with unmanned air traffic control towers. What do you think about that? Love to hear your guys' comments. I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say down below on these topics. Continue mission. That's what we're going to talk about here real quick, guys, and a simple way to help support military personnel and the troops, and particularly veterans. And I love partnering with Blade HQ, not only because I love their company, I love what they produce, I love their videos, and I love their selection and their warranty and all that. Have always had great success, but also their support for our troops, which is always awesome. So Blade HQ is partnering with the company Continue Mission, this organization, not a company, but that helps support veterans. And I'll just read you what they stand for and what they do. Continued Mission does as a nonprofit. This is what they do. They help veterans by providing recreational activities, camaraderie, and supporting veterans with post-traumatic stress. They're also heavily involved in mental health awareness and suicide prevention for veterans. And the kicker, they use 96% of donations for veterans programs, meaning only 4% is used for overhead. That's an impressive and noteworthy cause and capability. All profits of these $5 tags, which you guys can go pick up over at Blade HQ, go straight to Continued Mission and the veterans that they give their minds, health, and youth in defending of our country. So you can support veterans causes and can particularly Continue Mission. So really cool that Blade HQ is partnering with Continued Mission. So these are available over on the Blade HQ website right now. $5, all proceeds go to Continued Mission and all of their activities that they do to help support vets. And you get this really cool kind of 1940s World War II styled and themed tag. Again, hopefully I can show that to you guys and it'll focus in for us here. There you go. Leather on one side, kind of a red ox color, Continue Mission. It's got the American flag, and then you got cloth on the back side. Really nice, really cool little tag to have, and you get to support vets. So all super awesome stuff. So links below over to Blade HQ for those tags, and we just thank you guys for watching, and when you guys use those hyperlinks week in, week out, really helps us out, not only be able to give you this content, give you heads up about cool stuff that you can easily help support a vet, and helps us continue to do what we do here. All right, final piece of the puzzle today, guys, that we're going to touch on is just cold weather transitions. You know, now as the seasons are changing, it's early November, and we've already had Halloween night, October 31st, and October 30th, we had a pretty good snow with a couple inches, 6 inches, depending on the part of the city that we were in. So, you know, seasons are definitely changing and you got to be prepared. So I just want to remind you guys of some things to do to prepare yourself for the winter conditions, particularly if you live in areas where you are getting snow, where the temperatures drop. You know, if you're living in Southern California or you're living, you know, in like Florida, maybe it doesn't matter quite as much aside from like hurricanes and different things that you might have, tropical stuff. But, you know, I'm talking like cold weather environments, things to consider, things to remember. A lot of it has to do with your vehicle because in your home, you know, it's easy to stay warm, keep the heater running, you know, check the pipes, do those type of things, you know, winterize the house. That's pretty straightforward, but a lot of it has to do with when you're outside of the home. And some few things that I want to remind you of is that as the weather and temperature changes, your tire pressure usually drops some, so make sure to check your tire pressure. A lot of cars now have the little icons that tell you when it drops. This happened like 2 weeks ago. All of my friends' cars, my cars had the little icon like boom, tire pressure, you know, so we had to pump up the tires a little bit, so never forget about that. Make sure that you have good tires. You know, it's not so much about all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, it's way more about the tires that you have on your vehicle, either having snow tires and not the steel studded ones, those depending on where you live that might be good, but just really good grippy traction. If you're not sure, go talk to your local mechanic or tire store and they might be able to help you out. But having good tires and having a good set of chains. If you are going to have snow and ice in your location, regardless of the type of vehicle you own, all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive or two-wheel drive, you need to have a set of chains in case you get stuck and be competent in them. If you've never used a pair of chains, watch some videos, get a good pair, go to your local, I mean, you can get them at Walmart, you can get them on Amazon. I'll have some links in the description below. Another simple way to help support the channel with all the links that we offer to you guys below. But, you know, you can get a good pair of chains, but test them out, put them on, know how they work. If you've never tried it in that emergency situation or in that problem when you're stuck, that's a big, you know, no-no. I mean, if you don't know how to do it, that would really suck. I have we were in, I used to work for an oil company, and we were out in the middle of nowhere on oil rigging road. The company man had slid off the road because there was snow and ice, and had his four-wheel drive truck stuck in the snow, and we couldn't get him out. So to try and fix that, because we were sliding on the ice, we put chains on. Well, I put my chain on my wheel, and the company man jumped out and was putting the chains on the other wheel, and I didn't really like that he was doing that, but I was like, all right, fine. He's a company man. He works on an oil rig. He's got to know how to put on a pair of chains, right? Apparently, the guy didn't. He didn't attach it right. So when my buddy who was in the truck hit the gas to reverse and try and pull his vehicle, the other guy's vehicle, out, the chains broke, snapped on his wheel, the guy that the company man did, wrapped around our axle, exploded, so chain pieces are flying everywhere, so super dangerous, and ripped the brake line, and we lost all of our brake fluid. So now we are basically out of brakes on an ice road trucker, basically 10 miles from the rig, out in the middle of nowhere, out on the plains, on the western plains, western slope of Colorado. That sucked. And this company man did not know how to put on a pair of chains, which was pathetic. So all I'm saying is know how to use the equipment. So chains for your vehicle, regardless of what type of vehicle you own. The other thing also would be a tow strap, even if you yourself. So I have a Subaru Outback. I believe it's 2017, 2016, which is awesome. We really like it a lot. That has a tow strap. So not only I could tow somebody out, or if we get really stuck, I totally slide off the road, somebody can pull me out. Maybe the pickup truck goes by and they're on, you know, good dry ground, but for whatever reason I slid off the road or got stuck, whatever, they don't have a tow strap, but I do. Boom, they can pull me out, no problem. Same with my Sonata. I have a tow strap in my Sonata. It's a two-wheel drive sedan. I'm not going to be able to pull anybody out probably, but if I get stuck and somebody comes across and, you know, finds me and they don't have a tow strap, but they have a vehicle that could pull me out, it doesn't help. It's good to have a tow strap in your vehicle. That's always a big plus. Jumper cables, because as the cold weather changes, maybe your battery dies. It's good for you to be relying on yourself and have jumper cables. That's another good positive as well. And then just a simple survival kit. I'm not going to do a whole video right now on a survival kit in your car, but I think a car survival kit, and you don't have to have this big $500 bag to make it work. I have right now over here to my left, I'm restocking them and making sure they're all good with the kids' clothes and everything, 2 duffel bags. I went to the local sporting goods store, found like $20 duffel bags that are good quality. They're like heavy duty Fedora, but they're budget, cheap. Throwing a bunch of gloves in there, hats, jackets. We even went to Costco, picked up like a $20 Kirkland, but it's actually like really good quality, like hard, soft shell on the outside and fleece on the inside. I mean, I could walk for quite a ways with it. Threw that in there, you know, the tools that I would need, the tow strap, the charging cables, the jumper cables, all of that. I've thrown in there some food. So if I got stuck overnight in my vehicle somewhere, I would have enough food, I'd have enough clothing and shelter and all the things that I would need to stay warm until the next morning when someone hopefully would drive by, or I could walk out or do whatever I would need to do in a snowstorm situation or problem. So you can easily do those type of things, folks. And I'll have some links below for some of my favorite stuff. But I just wanted to kind of talk to you about that concept in general when we're talking about the changing weather conditions and just being prepared, just having what you need, stay warm out there, but have some equipment that if you get stuck in your car, or your car, you know, dies and you're, you know, trapped somewhere, that you could survive a couple days without issue because of the clothing as well as the food that you would have with you, as well as extra tool items to either jump your car or tow it out. Well, there you have it, folks. Thank you so much. I hope that this video has been fun, informative, entertaining. As always, that's what we want to shoot to do here at the channel and on the Gideon's Tactical Show. Please subscribe if you're not a current subscriber. Become part of the GT family. If you're already a current subscriber, you rock. Thank you so much for your support. Don't forget about the mailbag. Put hashtag mailbag. You might get one of your questions answered in an upcoming video. Check us out on all the social media, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. Throwing up stuff there every single week. And finally, guys, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and we'll see you out there.